All right, guys, I'm back. You know, whenever it's time for me to go on, I realize that we always have these issues. Really sorry about that. I don't know what went wrong a while ago, right? So I see Naya is back, Cynthia is back. Good. So just let everybody know that we are back. Let them. I wait a limit. Vitality trends is back. Very good. I don't know what happened, guys. It's just as soon as I'm supposed to go on, things like these just happen. But um, let me just give some time for persons to jump on, and let me just give some persons the time to jump on because I was just about to show you one of our sample videos that we did in Laos. So I've done, as I said, I've done over 30 videos like these, and I'm going to be releasing them. I'm also doing a book. So from my visit to Laos, I'm doing a book. So I want you to look out for that as well. I want you to look out for that as well. All right, so I see persons jumping back on. All right, so yeah, so I did a series of videos that not only shows how to harvest the herbs, but how to use them as vegetables as well. And so I want to share that. I want to share one of those videos. That this video is not even supposed to come out yet, but I'll give you a preview. What I want to do is to do more videos like these, teaching persons how to make meals using what I call indigenous alkaline vegetables, using vegetables from the wild. So I want to do more videos like these. And so my visit to Laos was very successful. My visit to Laos was successful because I was able to basically not only feature herbs in their medicinal state, but herbs in their nutritional state. We're able to put together products from that. And so if I had the time in New York, that is what I would have done. So I can tell you that going forward, when I travel, you're going to get a chance to benefit from a lot of those. Um, Wonderful Marjorie. So when I do get the chance, what I'll do is I'll travel and I'll plan it in such a way where we'll have herb walk in the area where persons in that area can come out. And then I plan to have some nightly classes where we will show you traditionally how our ancestors and even come up with our own ways of how we can be creative in putting together meals. I see one person's on Facebook. Wonderful. Yeah, let me know where you're joining us from. Um, Let me know where you're joining us from. All right, we have 7 persons. Um, just giving some more persons time to jump on. Annie, giving some more persons time to jump on because I had a video that I wanted to share with you that I did in Laos. So while I was in Laos, I did some salads made from the vegetables that we harvested. We did some juices made from the vegetable that we harvested. And we also did some soups. We did some raw soups. So I'll teach you how to make live soup. And I know I didn't do any pizza. I'll show you how to make live pizza with live food. Just to show you how to use organic food to heal the body. A lot of persons who have terminal ailments, who have serious chronic ailments, this is what you need to do in order to heal yourself. And so it's challenging for me to, take on the responsibility of making medicine for so many persons. So my goal is to see more persons being able to make medicines for themselves, being able to heal themselves from the medicines that we have. Welcome to today's show. In today's show, all right. So I found back the videos. Let me just wait until we get some more persons on. I want to share this video with you as to how you can combine wild vegetables to make wonderful meal. And this was a meal that Yassar enjoyed. It was one of his favorite meals. And so I've put together a book. I'm putting together a book that will be a compilation of my visit to Laos. It will be a culmination of what we did. It will feature all the herbs, the benefits of the herbs, as well as the different meals, the herbs, the dosages. I'm going to put in some formulation in them, showing persons how our ancestors were able to combine these herbs to bring about healing. All right, we have 13 persons. I want us to reach up back to 20. Wonderful. I wanted to reach up to 20. Can you just send the link to 7? Can everybody just send the link to one person? Let's see if we can get this our class back up to 20 before I share the video. So this is going to be the premiere. It's actually a Spanish needle salad. So I can tell you that much. It's a Spanish needle salad. And what we did was that we used the Spanish needle to make a salad. We use marigold to make a salad. We use devil's horseradish. We use a number of herbs to make salad. I'm not give you everything, but we made a number of salads from the vegetable that we harvested. So those 13, a number of the plants that we looked at included vegetables and fruits. So we can combine all of those vegetables and all of those fruits to make a meal, or to make multiple meals for that matter. So another person says they don't know what to eat, they don't know how to eat. Well, as I was saying, that one of the reasons why we have so many people being sick, I just came from the church a while ago. I did a session a while ago, and I saw so many sick people. It was frightening, and the amount of sick persons I saw, the ailments were common. One person, for example, has to take a pill every single solitary day to have bowel movement. We're talking about a young enough person. This person was under 50. This person takes a tablet every single day to have bowel movement. This person basically has chronic headache. And when you look at the myriad of ailments that the persons have, there are medicines that there are wild vegetables out there that if you know how to combine them, you can reverse these conditions. Our ancestors were able to reverse all of these conditions. A lot of the reasons why so many people are sick. As a matter of fact, most of the persons that we saw, because when we did the herb walk, a lot of the plants that we saw basically indicated that poor nutrition was at the core of many of the ailments here. All right, so time is running. I'm just going to go into the presentation. Demonstrating how to put together a simple recipe. I want to focus on how economical and affordable eating right can be. Most of these ingredients were sought from the wild. So in today's recipe, we're going to be making a salad from Spanish needle and other all-natural ingredients. All right, so I'm going to put the ingredients and the amount in the description right here. All right, so we're going to take our Spanish needle and these Spanish needles were actually acquired from our Herbal Walk. You want to ensure that your Spanish needles are the more tender, softer, nutritious form of the Spanish needle. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and cut our Spanish needle. We're going to cut our Spanish needle. And this is a recipe that I recommend for persons especially who have chronic ailments. This is one recipe that we offer to persons who are really ill, who have some form of terminal illness. So I'm trying to ensure that what I use is the more softer form of our Spanish needle. If you try to eat the more mature portion of parts of the Spanish needle, you're going to find that it's bitter, you're going to find that it's very fibrous, very uncomfortable to taste. Because as we've said over and over again, that herbs have a way of telling us when it is in its nutritional state or when it is in its therapeutic state. So I'm going to go, I have my Spanish needle cut, so I'm going to put that aside. And now I'm going to get ready to make the sauce that I'm going to use on my Spanish needle. So to do so, I'm going to take our lemon, and I'm going to ensure that I remove the seeds. If you want to use the seeds, it's really up to you, because the seeds are really very powerful forms of antibiotic, especially if you're fighting a flu. This can be a very powerful arsenal. But for taste, for culinary reasons, you want to remove the seed, because even though they're very medicinal, they can be very bitter. So I'm going to go ahead and add my lemon juice. Alright, and half a lemon should be enough. Then I'm going to add my dates, and you can add the dates based on your preference of taste. Now these are organic dates, so I have to remove the seeds. I'm going to drop that into my blender. Let me remove the seeds, drop that into my blender. And this is a very nice and not only beneficial to me. The dates is adding our carbohydrates. The lemon is providing us with our vitamin C as well as our zesty tangy flavor. And of course, vitamin C aids in absorption. I'm going to be adding my garlic. And this is your antibiotic. So I'm going to add 4 cloves of garlic. Next, I'm going to be adding my cayenne pepper. And of course, this is based again on your taste, based on your preference of taste. I'm just going to add a small amount. And what cayenne pepper does is that cayenne pepper helps with circulation, and it also helps with adding the pungency to our flavor. We're going to add our olive oil, and this is our cholesterol. Good. Next, we're going to add a small amount of orange juice, or pineapple juice, rather. And of course, you can use freshly squeezed pineapple. And we are going to now blend into a nice, consistent puree. So, we can put it some more. So what you have is your nice sauce that you're now going to add to your salad. Let me try to put it in a bowl. So basically I'm going to add this now to our serving dish. I'm going to mix it in. There you have it. By the way, there you have it, guys. This is your nicely well put together Spanish needle salad made from all natural ingredients and of course from Spanish needle that we harvested from the wild. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video. Bye-bye. All right. So what's missing from that? Hey, wonderful. What's missing from that is the aerial. So that video wasn't finished editing. I just wanted to just give you a sneak preview of what it looks like. We have all the photos to show you of how not only attractive but how well it tastes. That's the type of food for persons who have chronic ailment. What we're saying is that what's different from that food, from wild vegetables and domestic vegetables? What's different? I'm not going to tonight's class, but one of the things that I want to teach you that's different in meals like those. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully. What is different from wild vegetable versus vegetable that is grown commercially? What's the difference? There is a difference. Whatever this what I'm gonna say is so important that look out for this coming out on the quiz that's coming. Look out for this question. This question is going to be on the quiz coming. What is the major difference between wild vegetables and commercial vegetables? All right. Now, when we did the herb walk today and we went into the park, what you find, and even all over New York, everywhere you go over New York is a concrete jungle. It's dominated by concrete. What you will find is everywhere where there is a crevice and soil is present, what you're going to find is you're going to find some herbs coming up. You're going to find herbs coming up. So Annie says GMO. GMO, yes, but what's the major difference between wild vegetables and commercial vegetable? Why I recommend them highly, especially for persons who are ill, especially for persons who are very ill. Put aside the alkalinity of it. What, and maybe you'll get a full, Chelsea says the nutritional value. We're thinking. But listen, let me give you some more clues. Do you notice that when these herbs are growing, the more you try to get rid of them, is the more they seem to come back. The more you try to get rid of them is the more they seem to come back. That element, that characteristics that causes the weed or causes the herb to be resilient is the same quality that you're looking for when you're terminally ill. Because remember, if you're terminally ill, there are two types of plants that you can eat. You can eat one type of plant that has nutrients, but it's going to lack something because it is commercially grown. And I'll give you another clue. These plants that are commercially grown, they have to be protected. We have to protect them. They don't have the resilience, nor do they have the ability to withstand, say salty. No, but you're thinking. Now, so I want you to follow my chain of thought. You are sick. You have a chronic ailment, which means that your immune system is compromised. And it says pesticide. These plants that are grown in the wild, they don't have pesticide. They have something that causes them to be resilient. That causes them to be resilient even though we're trying to get rid of them. Whatever it is that these plants have that cause them to be resilient. I'm in New York, and amidst the hustle and bustle of the pollution, amidst the Naya says wild plants. What is it? Yeah, but what is it that these wild plants have that allows them to be resilient? That when you eat them, that which causes them to be resilient, you are going to acquire it. And that now is going to be the major difference between eating wild vegetables and commercial vegetables. All right, so let me tell you what it is. It is intelligence. Wild plants have an intelligence that commercial plants don't have. Number of reasons. One, Nikki B says they build up antibodies. Wild plants live longer than commercially grown plants. So because they live longer and they are in the soil, their intelligence allows them to have resilience. That resilience is what protects them in the wild. That is the reason why they don't need pesticide. They don't need insecticide. They develop their own, through intelligence, they develop their own mechanisms to protect themselves. That mechanism is what you want, or that mechanism is what you get when you eat them. That mechanism is what sets wild vegetables apart from commercially grown vegetables. That's one of the main thing. Because a lot of time when we talk about vegetables, what we talk about is the nutrients, or we talk about the minerals. The minerals is good and the minerals is great. But one thing that we fail to forget is that wild vegetables have intelligence in them. You know, if you take a plant, if you had a plant that was grown, while I was in Laos, you can see that if you go back and look the videos of the vegetables that are grown in Jamaica that are in Laos, you will see that they look totally different, because even though they may be the same plant, they adapt and they adjust so that they can fit into that setting. And so the result is that they look different. right? They look different because the intelligence that they have allows them to fit into the climate and to fit into the soil profile. That immune intelligence is what you get when you eat them. And that immune intelligence is part of what you need to overcome the diseases that you have. All right? So that's one of the reasons why, yes, they help you to adapt very good, Chelsea. They help you to adapt to the environment. And what happens is that you're not just eating food when you eat wild vegetables. When you eat alkaline, indigenous alkaline vegetables, what you are eating is not just food, what you are eating is intelligent food. When you eat foods that are grown commercially, you are eating food, but you're eating dumb food. Food is not as intelligent as when it's in the wild. Think about the dog that is, the pet that grows inside. The pet that grows inside. The house dog is nowhere as intelligent as a dog that is grown in the city, the wild dog. Because the wild dog, all of their innate abilities, all of their innate skills, their what we would call their instinct, they have to depend on their instinct, they have to depend on their intelligence in order to survive, which is very different from the dog or the cat or the pet that is grown in a controlled setting. That animal, even though he's getting better care, is being denied the need to utilize their natural instincts and their natural ability. In the same way, that is what happens to plants when they are grown commercially, when they are genetically modified. They may have minerals, but they will not have intelligence. That intelligence is a part of what you need in order to heal yourself. What we need is not just food, but what we need is intelligent food. All right, so that's one of the reasons why I really promote, and I'm really promoting the eating of indigenous alkaline vegetable. So that's on the intelligent side of it. We're not talking about the alkaline aspect. We're not talking about the minerals that are found in it. That's a whole different kettle of fish. So I just want you to understand that when you get sick and you start to eat these intelligent vegetables, you start to sprout these intelligent seeds. What you are now getting inside of your body is the best that nature has to offer. Not just minerals, but intelligent minerals that now begin to communicate to your cells. Your cells is able to communicate with it, and it can now go to work. Right? So that is one of the reasons why I'm saying that for persons who have chronic ailments, one of the best thing to have, one of the absolute best thing to have is what I call indigenous alkaline vegetables, which is raw live foods, but not just live food, but live intelligent food. And they don't tell us about that. They don't tell us about the importance of eating intelligent food. Because guess what? The goal is not for you to know these things so that you can get better, so that you can overcome the ailments that you have. So this evening we want to go into our presentation where we're gonna basically look at the herb walk that we did, the video that came out today, where we looked at herbs in Bronx. All right. So we're gonna go right into that, and then what I'm gonna do is basically, so the first herb walk that we do whenever we go out to do a herb walk, well, the first thing that we do is do what is called a herb audit. A herb audit. That herb audit is to find the herbs that reoccur more frequently, and then that now gives us an indication as to what are the possible common ailments in that area, right? And so it's interesting because we're going to go right into that now, and we're going to see that. Guys, welcome to another edition of 60 Minutes with Mother Nature. So, as you can see from my background, there are some folks behind me, so I don't want to, I'm in Soundview Park, and I'm here with Pastor Carol Hamilton.
Doc, you look like twin, Doc.
Yeah, man. And I've been cut off my beard.
Yes, no, but I'm gonna cut mine to be mature. All
right, so we're in Soundview Park and we're doing a herb walk, and this video is gonna come out on Sunday. Yeah. So it means that the herb walk here that we're having, the live one, would have been gone, and then we would have been having a seminar on Friday night, where we're going to be teaching persons to make medicines. Don't worry, if you miss it, we're going to be doing much more of this. Yeah. But in today's episode of 60 Minutes with Mother Nature, we wanted to just go through the park here to look at 10 herbs that I believe if you live in New York, you need to know. All right, so I want you to get your pen and your notebook out. Remember that in order to do this herb walk, you're going to need some tools. You're going to need the chart that I'm going to put up, and you're also going to need the diary. All right, so let's go. All right, so here we are in we are with Pastor. We are in where?
In the Soundview Park in the Bronx, New York, the Boogie Down Bronx.
Boogie Down Bronx.
Yes.
All right. Yes. So basically, just walking in, I want to say that it's amazing because let me show you the park. So there's a road that goes in, and then we have both sides of the road, and both sides of the road we have herbs. Now, one thing I think about Pastor is, nowadays that when we go shopping, we actually go through the aisle and we just pick up what we want, yes, and we put it in the basket. Yes. And this is the way we've come to know and accept as being normal. Yes. But when I come here and look, it's almost as if I'm walking through an aisle, yes, and on both sides of the aisle there's just medicine, free medicine and free food.
If you notice, Doc, you see that they even lawnmower it down. They're chopping them down and just leaving them to dry because they don't know what it is, what the value. They don't know what it's for.
Wow.
Look at that. You see them mow it down.
Wow.
And I know that by tomorrow later on they're gonna come and mow this down because it's coming on to the summer now.
Yeah.
They're gonna chop all of this down and they don't know what it is because and this dark, like you said, this is growing so wide.
Yeah, this is all of these plants that we're seeing. And Pastor, let me tell you what we do. Because I left my chart. I was supposed to pre-print the chart I was telling you about.
Yes.
Because normally when I print the chart, I walk through with the chart, and I show you how to know the medicinal uses of the herbs, yes, using the chart.
So I tell you what, Doc, we can pick up the chart tomorrow, and then when we go for the herb walk in the morning and Saturday morning,
we'll have it. Come on. We can have more than one copy, so persons who may want to have as well.
We can do that.
All right, but when I come and do a herb walk, like what we're going to be doing now, because this is going to be the first one, we're going to have maybe 2 or more. Yeah. Now, when I do a herb walk for the first time, what we do is what is called a herb audit. Yes. So the first herb walk that we do, because the herbs in a particular area give us an idea as to what are the common ailments in that area. Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're going to look at the herbs, yes, and then after looking at the herbs, we're gonna look at what ailments are they primarily used for, and that will give us an idea as to what are the ailments commonly around here
in the area.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Got my notepad, Doc.
All right. Good. So I see some outside here. I think so what we're trying to do is to look at the herbs that repeat themselves. What are the herbs that repeat themselves? What are the herbs that repeat themselves? Now, this one.
This here.
Yeah. This herb is the pork root. Pork root.
P-O-R-K?
P-O-K-E.
P-O-O-P-O-K-E.
Pork root. And this herb is also found in Jamaica. It's called, in Jamaica we call it jokoto.
Okay.
And this is a herb that typically grows where, it usually grows up where after you burn properties, after you burn the land,
yes,
this one usually come up.
So it seems as if when you burn the land, the ashes tend to fertilize the ground,
right,
make it nutritious so this will spring up.
Right. So this is pork root, and we always say to persons, I should ask you, what do you notice about this plant? Tell me what you notice about this plant.
It's green, it looks flourishing, it looks
Good.
healthy.
Good.
And it has some white buds that's coming up at the top. It looks almost like callaloo.
Right.
It looks almost like callaloo.
Right. So it is a vegetable.
Yes.
But another thing I want you to look at, because we're going to look at other plants.
Yes.
So if you look on the stalk going down.
Yeah, it looks like the stalk itself looks a little hollow inside.
Right, you know this start to turn red?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes,
so
right
I'm going to show you that the younger ones will not have that red on it.
Like this one here, probably. This one here. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
And touch it again. Let me show you something.
Like this one here?
Yeah. If you notice it, it's easy to bend.
Yes.
So this is more. So again, when we look at plants, we want to look at plants for two main reasons.
Yes.
Is it in its food stage?
Oh.
Or is it in its medicine stage?
Yeah, okay.
Good?
Yes.
We call the food stage the nutritional stage, or we call it, is it more of a nutritional herb?
Yeah.
Or is it more of a therapeutic herb?
So it's a food stage or a medicinal stage?
Right, very important. Because we want to know if it's more of food, is this more of food, or is this more medicine?
Okay.
Now, the plant actually tells us whether it's more a medicine or whether it's more a food.
Yes.
One of the ways that the plant tells us that it is more of a medicine or a food is begin to look if the plant has sexual organs.
Yes, okay.
Or if the plant has developed sexual organs.
Okay.
Because, you know, when we reach puberty, our sexual organs develop. From the day we're born, we were born with sexual organs.
Yeah, but they're not fully developed. Yes.
One of the ways that we know that human beings are becoming fully developed, they start to have pubic hair. Right? So we're learning. Now, with plants, as we say, plants communicate to us. This plant is maturing. Because this is now the organ of the plant.
Oh, okay.
This is the organ of the plant.
This is like the bud, right?
Yes,
bud. Yeah,
it's blossoming.
Yes.
Now these blossoms will eventually become fruit.
Okay. This is the same plant that brings the little purple fruit, them like?
Yes, it produces some little purple fruit. This herb is also called inkberry.
Inkberry, okay.
Inkberry.
Okay.
And it is called inkberry because the dye that is extracted from the fruit is a very permanent dye. As a matter of fact, it was a dye from this plant that was used to write the American Constitution.
Wow.
So this herb has a lot of history in Jamaica. And it is a herb that was predominantly used by the American Indians.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this plant is both a vegetable, or it can be used as a vegetable, and it can be used medicinally. Okay. Now, this plant, when it becomes more medicinal, as it is becoming more medicinal, has what is called proteolytic enzymes.
Proteolytic enzymes.
Yeah. Proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic. Proteolytic enzymes. And there are a number of plants that have proteolytic enzymes. And what proteum comes from the same root word that we get protein from. Okay. Right? And so what it means is that this herb, basically, it dissolves protein. So this herb, when it is matured, can be used to get rid of warts.
Okay.
Yeah, warts. Okay. So if you have wart on the body, this herb can get rid of it. If you have bunion, it can be used to get rid of bunion. And I'm not going to go too much into the uses of it, because those of you that are watching, remember that 7 o'clock tonight, we are going to be doing, because this video comes out 3 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yes.
And then at 7 o'clock, we have a live class,
Yes.
our free class,
Yes.
where we review all of these herbs.
Yes.
And part of the revision is to explain in depth what
Yes.
are the medicinal uses.
Okay.
So I'm just going to touch on it now, and then
Yes.
in the class later on, we go in depth
Yes.
in talking about the medicinal uses.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, Doc.
So, but this plant is called pork root.
Yes.
It's called jokoto.
Yeah.
And it is a vegetable. It's
Yes.
a very, very, not only tasty, but very nutritious.
So it can be eaten.
Yes, man, it can be eaten. It is a food. And I prefer it more than callaloo, and I love callaloo.
It looks like callaloo, Doc.
Yeah, man. Tastes better than callaloo.
Yeah.
So this is pork root. All right, guys. So that is pork root, and of course, we said that pork root has proteolytic enzymes, and so I first got exposed to pork root. It's one of the herbs that are used that is used by the American Indians a lot, and my first exposure to pork root was using it to make a salve called pulling salve. And that was a salve that we basically used for a number of wounds, a number of conditions where we need to remove flesh from the body. So that herb, in a sense, is used to do what we call knifeless surgery. So whenever you need to do a surgery or carry out a surgical procedure on a person and not use a knife, this is one of the herbs, and this is one of the most used herbs to do that. And yes, the English, it is found in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we call it jokoto, right? Jokoto, and it is a vegetable. If you go there and start to do research on it, they'll tell you that it is poisonous, and it is because as it becomes more mature, as it becomes more therapeutic, as it moves from nutritional form to its therapeutic form, the concentration of certain compounds become very concentrated, and so the dosage of it, it has to be used in very careful quantities. And so pork weed, I call it pork root because we're always using the root. But pork weed is also an emetic. So it has purgative properties. Native Americans and early settlers use pork weed as an emetic. Like how we use duck flour, right? So duck flour is an emetic. The minute you consume a certain amount, then you start to throw up. So it purges you by allowing you to throw up. Pork weed can be used in a similar way. Because of its proteolytic enzymic properties, it's also very good for certain skin conditions. So the crushed raw berries, and I remember I was in Lilliput, and if my wife always warned me something of a taste, but I was in Lilliput, and I took some because the berry looked purple and pretty. So I took some of the berry and just put it on my tongue. And the minute I put it on my tongue started to bleed. It just dissolved, just like an acid. It just melt away my tongue, and it just started to bleed, and start to burn as well. So it's a very, very strong herb because of that proteolytic enzyme. So if you crush the berries and rub them on skin lumps, on bunions or corns or what we call tags, it's very good for that. It's also good for bruises and sprains, the berry itself. You can crush it with herbs like mustard. It's very good for that. Swollen joints. It's good for poison ivy. So it's very good for the skin. It's also used to treat dysentery and swelling of the nose, throat, the chest. Some persons also, if you want to bring heat, you can use porkberry with comfrey. For persons, or traditionally it was used with herbs like comfrey. to get cold persons to cough up fleas. So a lot of medicinal uses. Is it native to any parish? Um, Big up Scurry and Samuda. Um, I know I first found it in Lilliput, and I know that it tends to grow up wherever you clear land. So usually whenever you clear land, and usually by burning, we see it in Portland. Usually when you burn land, it just comes up and comes up in abundance. So that is basically where I see it. I've seen it a lot in I think it's in St. Elizabeth a lot too. But anyway, there's a lot of slashing and burning of the property. Yeah, you'll see pork root. And so remember now that what we're looking for are the plants that reoccur, plants that repeat themselves. So in our walk, yes, we're gonna look for the plant that after every 2 plant is it received.
Yeah, it's repetitive.
It's repetitive.
Okay.
All right, and that's gonna tell us something. So another plant that we have over here, this one.
This one here.
Yes, this one is a dandelion.
This is dandelion.
Yeah, this is dandelion.
Wow.
And this herb, yeah, is predominantly used for the liver.
Wow. That's all right.
So for persons who have liver conditions, and remember this, we're in Bronx. So for persons who have liver conditions, yes, it is the root of this herb. Yes. That is one of the most powerful herbs for liver detoxifying, yes, for detoxifying the liver. And the leaves also, when this plant is in its tender stage, yes, right now this is mature. Yes. Right, but when the plant is in its tender stage, it is a very good vegetable. It's slightly bitter. Yeah, but it can be eaten. But it is a salad. But you know what I find so amazing, Doc? Mm-hmm. We are standing on a massive rock. Mm-hmm. And it tells you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think this tells you about the resilience of the plant, because it comes up out of this is the ground is here, but it's actually the dirt from on top of a rock. Not only that, because you talk about resilience, what you will find is that almost everywhere in New York that you go, you find this plant. Yes, it's this. I've seen it. In every creek, in every crevice, yes, anywhere in the road where there's in the soil, yes, this plant will pop up. But I didn't know what this was for, Doc. Yeah, man. And I didn't even know this was dandelion. Very expensive too. Wow. So we have a pharmacy here. Yeah, man. Very expensive. So this is actually nature's pharmacy. Yes. Very, 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 very powerful herb. You're the teacher. All right. So very powerful herb number 2. Let me just take these 2 questions. One is from Chair C. How do you use it for pulling? How do you use well, first of all, you'd get the root. Traditionally, what was used is the root, and you would powder it. Well, the berries are also used. You don't have to even dry it. You can use the berries. You can get the berries and you can crush the berry. And by itself, if you put it over anywhere where they like a boil, let's say a person had a boil, and they want it to burst. What they would do is basically take the inkberry and crush it. As I said, you could also mix it with herbs like comfrey. You could mix it with herbs like mustard, and you could make a poultice and put it over that area. Wherever there was any heat required for persons who have rheumatoid arthritis, you could, they could use it like that. You could take the root, because the root is what we normally use. So we get the root and we powder it. We would add something like a charcoal to it. And after adding charcoal, then you could now add a little water and you make a poultice. And you could put that over any affected area. And basically what it would do, it would pull. Right? So it makes a pulling salve. For what we used it for, we combined it with a number of other herbs. I'm telling you, we combined with a number of other herbs like chaparral, herbs like graviola or soursop leaf or soursop bark, herbs like turmeric, depending on what you want it for. Because remember, that when we are combining herbs, as somebody would say, how you know which herbs to combine? Well, the cells tells us which herbs to combine, right? The cells tells us what herbs to combine. So part of what we teach is that we teach you how to interpret from the cells what they need. And then what we do is we match what the cells says that it needs with what the plant says that it has. So when you study the plants tell you the raw material that they have. And when you study the body tells you the raw material that it needs. So it's a matter of matching the minerals that the plants say that they have with what the cells are telling you that they need. That. So when we like for the Boston program, we go more into that. All right, we go more into that. Karian says that he ate Jokoto 2 times in Jamaica. Yeah, man. Tara is asking, do you know the tansy plant? Does it grow here in Jamaica? I'll have to check because it may grow here by a different name. All right. Errol Barnes, doctor, is it better put these herbs in powder form and use them? Will they still be as potent? Well, one of the reasons why we get herbs to their powder form is so that we can have them in a dosageable, measurable form. Without having them in powder, it's very challenging to know how to combine them because we have to have them in a dosageable form. And there are a number of ways that we can do that. All right. Scarian says, my neighbor burned the land and porkweed grows. Yeah, which is so true. Yeah. That's how they normally come up. Shalom, doctor. It's me, Alicia. Oh, I think Alicia from Florida. Is this Alicia from Florida? All right. I think, yeah. Let me know if it's you from Florida who wants to do the class. As I said, guys, that the Boston Institute class, where as soon as I get back to Jamaica, that's going to be ready. All right. You love what Skyline says he love. Yeah, man. Pastor basically has been blown away, in terms of his desire to want to know more. Okay. Yeah, it's you. Okay. So definitely. But what I wanted to say is that I'm sorry I didn't have the chart. Because when we teach herbs, secondary, now when you go out to learn herbs, the first thing you want to know is when you study, and that's why the chart is so important. If you have the chart, more questions will be coming from the chart, right? But let me tell you why the chart is important. The minute you understand, the minute you go out into the wild to look at herbs, the first thing you want to determine is this plant more a nutritional herb or is it more a therapeutic herb? First thing you want to know. The second thing you want to know, if you are serious about learning herbs, the second thing you want to know is this herb that I have, what herbs would give me the opposite actions of the herb? Before you start using herbs, you want to know what are the opposite actions of herbs. So, and this is important because just in case you took too much of a particular herb, you need to know what is the opposite, what herbs will give you the opposite actions. So let me give you an example. So one of the things that our ancestors did, which is what I basically used to structure the chart. If you look at the chart carefully, what you're going to see is that there is winter, summer, autumn, or spring. So let's see if we can apply that. Now, our ancestors realized that there were some herbs that conveyed the energy of summer. There are some herbs that convey the energy of winter. There are some herbs that convey the energy of spring, and there are some herbs that convey the energy of autumn. Let's see how we can apply this. this knowledge. So our ancestors realized that there were some herbs that conveyed the energy that was conveyed during autumn, which is autumn is also called fall, right? It's also called fall. Scarian chaparral grow in Jamaica. No, it's not grown in Jamaica. So when we think about fall, we think about things falling down. So autumn has a downward energy. The opposite of autumn is spring. Spring has an upward energy, right? Now, a downward energy would be an energy that is going down. So, for example, astringency. Astringency is a downward energy because what astringency is doing is that it is taking the fluid out of the cells and causing the cells to deflate. But spring is an upward energy. It causes the cells to rise. It causes the cells to increase. So let's say we can apply that now. So a good example of downward energy would be herbs that are what we call astringent, right? When you take astringent herbs take swelling down. They take fluid out of the cells. The opposite of astringency would be alkaloidal herbs, right? So if, for example, I gave you some guava leaf, some dried guava leaf, it will take the water out of your mouth. Let us say that I gave you too much, and too much water is coming out of your cells. Almost immediately that you're learning to use herbs, you need to know the opposite actions. So if I gave you, for example, some herb that was an astringent and it caused too much water or too much fluid to be extracted out of your cells, I need to know what herbs that can induce or encourage fluid to come back in the cells. Let me know if you're understanding me, guys. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense. You understand what I'm saying. So, for example, if I gave you some guava leaves, which is an astringent, or if I gave you some OTT apple bark, which is an astringent, and most barks are astringent. If I give you some OTT bark, if I give you some guava leaf, and the fluid out of your cells just began to dry out, I know that I can give you tamarind, or I can give you June plum leaf, or I can give you pink fringe, right? I know what herbs to give you to get fluid back into the cells. Because if it is that I give you some guava leaves and your mouth are drying out, if I give you some tamarind, your mouth would begin to salivate. As you begin to learn herbs, that's a very important. So that on the chart, I have examples of herbs like that. So I have examples of astringencies, and I have examples of herbs that work in the opposite. Let's look at summer and winter. Summer is an energy that conveys heat, like cayenne pepper and ginger. And any herb that basically is herbs that causes movement and removes stagnation. Now, if I gave you a herb, because any herb that works like that can raise your pressure, you know. So if it is that you took too much, you need to know what are the herbs that work oppositely to it that will bring a balance. So it's very important that you learn that, and that's also one of the principle that is in the chart. So as you begin to taste herbs, as you begin to make note of them, these are the very important things that you need to make note of. Because as you learn herbs, you need to know where does it fall, what are the opposite reactions. All right, we're going to move to the next herb. I don't want to be here too long. Sally says, I drink moringa neem and ginger each morning. I took 3 days after a week because heard these herbs are good for pain and also diabetic. Is this a good combination? Hmm. I wanna get to the place where I can teach you how to know for yourselves. Because remember, I just said it a while ago. The cells tell you what is a good combination. So it's a matter of let's look at it. So let's look at your question. I drink moringa, neem, ginger each morning. I took 3 days after a week because I heard these herbs were good for pain and ulcer. So let's look at ulcer. What is an ulcer? When a person has ulcer, what are the cells telling you? When a person has ulcer, what are the cells telling you? Because if we know what the cells are telling us, then we know what to use. When a person has ulcer class, what are some of the things that you believe the cells would be telling you? No, don't want to do any herb yet. We always want to know why we're doing what we do. You always, you don't just go there and try something just because it comes to your mind. We do things because of, and the basis of cause and effect. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. What we have to do is also pay attention. That's the reason why when you're a herbalist, people who are very observant and people who are very, very intuitive, they're natural healers. Because one of the things that you have to learn to do is to pay attention to details. Pay attention. So somebody says that they have ulcer, they have burning in their stomach. Is it that the body is acidic? It's easy to say that. Yes, the body is acidic. But when a person has ulcer, how does the ulcer get your attention? How does the ulcer describe the ailment to you? What are some of the signs that you have? What are some of the symptoms that you have? Because the symptoms is how the body communicates to us. That's what we use to know what herbs to use. Because the symptoms manifest in the cells, and the cells tell us what it needs. Very good, Earl Barnes. Burning. That's one of the first thing that you're going to have. Pain. Pain is a very broad phase. Broad pain. But I'll go with it. Burning describes because burning conveys heat. So the cells are experiencing heat, and that heat is causing discomfort. Now, if it is that you're having burning, what would you naturally need if you're having burning? Talk to me. If you're having burning, what would you now need? Because the cells is telling you that it is burning. What type of characteristic or energy would you want from plant to neutralize burning? Because we need to know, then we need cooling. Very good, Annie. So we need a cooling effect. And now when you go to the chart, you would go to the chart to consult the chart. What are the herbs that have cooling effect? All right? Because burning would be synonymous to summer. The opposite of summer is winter. So what we're having in the cell is a condition of summer where there's burning, where there is discomfort. What we need is cooling. Very good. Mints. So herbs that are cooling. Now, some of the most cooling herbs are what we call mucilaginous herbs. Aloe vera. Very good. So now we see why aloe vera makes sense. Because aloe vera has mucilage. Most plants with mucilage are cooling. You find mucilaginous plants growing in area where there is heat, like in the desert. You see what happening now? Because most of the people in the desert, their diseases would be the result of heat or inflammation. Because another word that we could also use from the acid reflux is inflammation. So we're looking for herbs that are cooling, number one. So you start to write now. You realize that the cells is telling you that it is burning. The cells is telling you that it is inflamed. So now you know two properties that you're looking for. You're looking for cooling effect, which is mostly found in mucilaginous plant, and you're looking for anti-inflammatory effect. So let's go back to the question that was asked by Sally. I drink moringa, neem, ginger. Now ginger is not one of the herbs that you would want to use because ginger already carries heat and can further cause inflammation. So we're not going to diabetic yet. We're looking at ulcer. Moringa. Now, moringa, to a lesser extent, because moringa is a sweet herb, right? So moringa basically is a herb. And if you look at the chart, moringa is a herb that basically would add energy. Sweet herbs put energy in the body. You don't necessarily want that. So what you want are herbs that are cooling, and what you want are herbs that are anti-inflammatory. So we would now go to our chart and we would begin to look for anti-inflammatory herbs. We would look for cooling herbs. So somebody said aloe vera. Somebody says tuna. Somebody says okra. Somebody says leaf of life. All of the herbs that bring cool and inflammation is what you need to combine for that condition. Rosemary is also cooling, right? So I don't know if that kind of helps you to understand. So like I said before, in the Boston Institute, we go in depth in that and explain how that works, right? But the sea moss is also very good. It's cooling and it's nourishing as well, right? So that's how that works. So it's paying attention to the body and seeing how, yes, it's seeing how when somebody has an ailment, it's paying attention to the ailment in the form of the symptoms. And this now helps us to understand what the cells of the body are saying. And we are now able. So some people have thrown the answers there now. Irish Mass, a pure bright student, me have the English, near Brent. So if I were to ask in the quiz, give me some herbs that could do this, and even though that wasn't a part of the class, now we find people can throw the answers because you're now understanding how it works. All right, you're now understanding how it works. Very good. All right, so let's go back to our video, guys.
Willing to learn.
So we're moving along.
Yes.
Now this herb is another herb that we're going to be seeing a lot of. And this is called the broadleaf plantain.
B-R-O-A-D.
Broadleaf plantain. Now, plantain, and there's about 3 of them.
Yes.
That we're going to see here. And I'll show you the difference. Yeah. Now, the broadleaf plantain, the leaves are very large. It's one of the largest plantain. And plantain is typically used for inflammation.
Okay.
This is nature's band-aid. So it's used to resolve inflammation. If persons have wounds, then this herb also helps to stop bleeding. All right, and these were herbs that were very high on the chain of First Nation people like the Indians, American Indians. Yes.
Yeah.
So plantain is used for headache.
Yeah.
It's used for stomach. And as I said, I'm not going to go too much in depth. The goal is to try to identify as much as we can.
Yes.
And then later on in our class at 7 o'clock, we go more in depth as to the medicinal uses and how we can use and how traditionally our ancestors use.
I noticed that this plant also have a bud coming up out of it.
Yes. So this is also telling us that this is also very mature. It's gone beyond the stage of a vegetable.
Yes.
It's now it's now in its nutritional therapeutic stage.
Yes. Okay, look at that. You see this part here, it looks tender more than this part here.
There was brown.
Yes.
There was brown object that you're seeing on that one
Yes.
is actually seeds,
Yes. Okay.
right? But the seeds are still looking more like flowers, so they're not yet mature.
Yes.
Yeah, these haven't started to produce seeds as yet.
Okay.
But in any case, this whole patch
Yes.
is now more is very mature.
Okay.
And we're gonna look and see if we can find some that are not so mature,
Yes.
because those can be used as vegetable.
Okay.
By the way, we are actually doing this video. Today's what date?
Today is actually June 13.
June 13.
Yeah, one day after my anniversary, Doctor.
Wonderful. So we still just past the new moon.
Yes.
So for persons who are harvesting herbs,
Yes.
this would be a good time to harvest herbs, because it's best to harvest herbs above the ground from the new moon to the full moon.
Wow.
Why? Because the moon has a gravitational pull,
Yes.
or a gravitational push.
Yes.
So we harvest herbs typically from the root, the
Yes.
bark, and the leaves or the flower.
Yes.
So herbs that where the herbs that are being harvested from the leaves and so on, you want to harvest them during that time of the new moon to the full moon. Why? Because the moon is growing in intensity. So the moon is moving from a stage of small light,
Yes.
to more light. Now, as the moon makes that
As it wanes.
adjustment, as
Yes.
it moves, what happens is that it has a gravitational pull
Okay.
on the liquid that is in the plant. Remember now that it is the
Oh.
medicine in the plant that we need.
Yes.
So as it has that gravitational pull on the medicine in the plant,
Yes.
what it means is that the medicine is being pulled into the leaf.
Okay.
When it is full moon to dark night,
Yes.
it has a gravitational push.
Yes.
So it's pushing the minerals into the
the
root.
ground,
So
into the
any
root.
herb that you want to harvest for the root, it's best time to harvest it.
Nice.
All
Very
right?
good.
Best time to harvest it.
Wow.
This. All right, so that's a broadleaf plantain. And let me just answer Tara. I joined late. How do I register for class? Will it be online? Also, I have a full-time job. So the classes, the Boston Institute classes are structured in modules. So it's basically you work at your own pace. You just pay for the module. The modules will range in price from $50 to $150. You work at your own pace. A module should run for about 3 months, but it's up to you. Once you finish the modules, you do the quiz, automatically you'll get your certificate. You just move on to the next module. So that's how we do it. There is a component of the class, which is we have a machine called a quantum analyzer. I'll do it the same way. I'll have modules where a person just do it, and then we'll have some live sessions to give people more practice. All right, but because of my schedule now, everything that I'm doing is being done where persons can work independently. All right. Now, that will be available very soon. As soon as I get back to Jamaica, I'll have help to finish it within a week. I'm sure everything will be available. Because I'm traveling and I'm out a lot and I'm tired, so it's been difficult for me to sit down and really do the work. I've started it, but it's just too much for me want to do. I have to transfer all the notes, all the tests, everything. So that is the broadleaf planting. And broadleaf planting, when you taste it, as Cheer C says, oh my, the taste is awesome and the smell is very relaxing. Because now when you taste your herbs, this is one way in which you get to become one with the herbs. You don't just know the herbs based on the look, but you also know the herbs. You know what it means to know somebody? When you know somebody, it means that you have intimate knowledge about the person. That's what it means to know somebody. That's what it means to know something. So to know something means to have intimate knowledge of. And there's no more intimate way of knowing a herb other than actually tasting it and experiencing it yourself. So you know from that, things about the herb that the person who just bought it dry wouldn't know. Right? And so Plantain is an inflammatory herb. So that's, you want to have a list of herbs that are inflammatory. This is one of them. So this is possibly, potentially a herb that would be good for the stomach as well. It's good for the lungs. It's very good for the lungs. Um, but it's mostly used in treating wounds. It's excellent in being used topically to stop like bleeding, to treat cuts, to treat stuff like eczema, which is an inflammation in the skin. It's used for good for treating insect bites, insect stings. It's used for drawing out pus out of sores and infections, and it's excellent for treating burns. As a matter of fact, it's called nature's band-aid. It's also very good for the lungs, for helping with irritation and drying. When a person coughs, if you pay attention, you will know if it's a dry cough versus if it is a cough that is producing mucus. Right? Well, if it's a dry cough, this is a herb that helps to bring moisture into the lungs, but at the same time helps in the person, passing up mucus. So this herb is an excellent herb for that. It's also excellent in being used as a mouth gargle for conditions like sores, laryngitis, tonsillitis, and so on. So it's very good. And that's when you dry it, of course, you make a decoction from it and you use it like that. It's good for treating injuries, for treating ulcers, diarrheas, fatigue, common flu, rash, all of those. The broadleaf plantain is good for all that. President Bush, good day, Dr. London checking in. Love your program. Very knowledgeable. Thank you very much, President Bush. And Errol Barnes, the herbal chart is awesome. Yeah, man, it is awesome. It is one of those tools that really makes my job easier. Even though I put it together, when I need a quick reference, I just turn to it, and it helps me. All right. So let's move on to our next herb.
This one here.
Yes.
This one.
No, this one.
Here. Yes.
Yeah, because as we can see, and as we go in,
a lot of this here, Doc.
Yeah, we're gonna see that this is Artemisia. Artemisia.
ART.
Yeah, or it is called sweet wormwood. It's called sweet wormwood, and sweet wormwood is antibacterial, it's antiviral, and it has a number of uses. One of the main uses is its effectiveness against flu viruses. Right? Very effective against flu viruses. As a matter of fact, it was one of the most effective agents against the recent health crisis that we had.
Yes.
So the recent health crisis that we had, it was used extensively in resolving that. So for persons who are having issues still related to that, traditionally, this is the one herb that our ancestors would have used to resolve those type of conditions.
Wow.
Right? So this is called Artemisia, or it is called sweet wormwood, or it is called ragweed. Ragweed.
Yes.
It's the same plant, ragweed. Alright? So as I said, as we travel along, we're going to be seeing these herbs repeating themselves.
Yes.
Which one? Okay. Alright, so
student learning. Willing student, Doc.
Alright, so here's another plant that I was shocked when I saw it here in the. Alright, so that was another herb that we found in abundance, and another very important herb, mugwort, or sweet wormwood. I've spoken about it many times. This is a herb that is antibacterial, and it was very, very effective against the recent health crisis that we had. Very effective. You could combine it with herbs like milkweed or a herb called tawa tawa. You could also combine it with herbs like papa leaves, um, but very effective against the recent health crisis. But apart from that, it's very good for menstrual cramps and abdominal pain. It's also good for stomach issues like colic. It's good for that. And it's also used for itching, for bruises, for headaches, for anxiety, for insomnia, and also for high blood pressure. These are the traditional uses of mugwort. So very, very powerful herb and very, very beneficial. All right. The next herb that I'm going to show you is a herb that um, I was surprised to see growing so wild, because this is a herb that in the past I had to pay a lot of money for to use. All right, here. Abundance that it was here.
Yes.
This herb is traditionally used for high blood pressure. This herb is called red clover. Right? Red clover. And it's growing here wild.
That's for high blood pressure.
It's traditionally used by our ancestors, by indigenous people, for high blood pressure.
Yes.
So far.
So this is this.
Yeah, red clover. That's red clover.
And you see, no, it's at a purpley, but when it matches, it takes turn red down here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doc. I'm listening.
All right.
Yes.
So we have some more dandelion leaves. Dandelion leaves, and then we have. All right. So that was a herb that we saw. Yeah, red clover growing in large amounts in the area. I see Elizabeth Channel is asking, "Hi doctor, what is good for fibroids?" Right. So we just let me ask at school. Let me not say. Elizabeth Channel is asking what is good for fibroids. How would we seek to answer that question? Let me see if you guys are paying attention. Let me not talk. How would we seek to address this question? What is good for fibroids? Let me throw it out to the class to see if persons are paying attention. What is good for fibroids, guys? How would we answer this question? Nobody? What is good for fibroids? Let's see if you guys are paying attention, because I keep on repeating myself over and over again. What causes fibroids? Very good, Nia. Very good. What causes fibroids? So before we even attempt to answer what is good for, the first thing we need to do is to find out what causes fibroids. Very good. Anybody else? Nia Bren says estrogen. Very good. So we have two very important piece of information. Anybody else wants to add to it? So we know estrogen is the culprit. Nia Bren, what are you eating? Very good. Very good. Now, imbalance of these two, the English, very good. But let's look at now the symptoms. What are the cells telling us? Because the symptoms that we're having is how the body communicates to us. When a person has fibroids, what happens to the person? Because that's going to be important. What's happening to the cells is how we're going to know what the cells need. What's happening to the cells? When somebody says they have fibroids, what's happening to the person? What type of symptoms are they having? Because even they're gonna make up them, even our ancestors are going to put the medicine together now. It's the symptoms that you use. It's how the body is communicating to you. That's what you use to determine what herbs you use, what herbs you need. So even though two persons may have fibroids, the medicine don't have to be the same, because how one person is being affected by their fibroids is not necessarily how another person is being affected by their fibroids. Very good, pain. Very good, pain. All right, so let me help you. So when the person has fibroids, what begins to happen is that a tumor is being formed. Heavy bleeding, so we know swelling. So we know we need a herb to counteract swelling. If we're having swelling, it means that fluid is being accumulated in the cells. If fluid is being accumulated in the cells, what do we need? What type of action do we need if fluid is being accumulated in the cells? Is red clover good for fibroids? You don't have to ask that question, Scarian, Samuda. We just need to pay attention. We just need to pay attention. But no, it's not good for fibroids. If it is that fluid is being accumulated in the cells, come now, guys. Very good, Annie. We need to remove the fluid. So we need a herbal action that draws fluid out. From what we have discussed so far, what herbal action, what is one of the main herbal action that would draw fluid out? Use the four seasons. They don't know the name. Just use the four seasons. What type of herb, what type of energy, something to rid the body of fluids like dandelion? No, but I'll tell you why dandelion. What causes? No. All right. So let me help you. So if it is that no, not fire, not fire. What you would need is herbs that convey the message of fall. Remember, because fall moves down and the fibroid is getting bigger, the fibroid is expanding. What we need is a herb that contracts, because what is happening in the cell is expansion. So we need a herb that has a very strong contracting ability. We call those herbs astringents. So we're going to need an astringent. Very good. We're going to need Lisa says that we need a hormone imbalance. So we're going to need a herb. First of all, the primary thing that you want to lead it, we're going to need all of those you mentioned. But the primary thing that we need is a herb that has astringency properties. Good? That's the first thing you need, because that is the thing that is happening. The fibroid is growing. The first thing you want to address is the contraction of what is growing. The first thing that you want to address is you want to remove fluid out of the cells, because for some reason, we can go into that, for some reason the cells is accumulating fluid. In this case, the fluid that the cells is accumulating is blood. Somebody else said something that was very important. Who was it that mentioned estrogen? Estrogen, right? So we're going to address all the problems related to it. I'm going to show you how we put a formula together. Our ancestors put a formula together. This is what determines. So we're paying attention to the body, because we're listening to the body. We're trying to pay attention to the cells of the body. This is what makes you a good herbalist. It's the ability to pay attention, the ability to pay attention. Some people have to put more effort into paying attention, because from they were very young, the natural ability that they had to pay attention. Their mother beat you to them and say you're too fast. So mind your own business. That's what our parents told us. They told us to mind our own business. And so that natural inquisitive desire that we had, which is one of the things that makes us function in nature. If you're in nature and you're not inquisitive, you can't live. Because you won't know when nature is telling you that danger is coming. Because you're trained to mind your own business. And when you're trained to mind your own business, you are being trained to tune out. When you become a part of nature, one of the things that you learn to do is to become inquisitive. For some people, it's more natural than some. Good? So, you're paying attention. You're paying attention to the fact that they're swelling. Once a person has fibroids, the thing that caught their attention is the fact that there's a swelling taking out, going place. So the first ingredient that you need is an ingredient that will get the fluid out of the cells. It just so happens that the fluid that is being retained in the cells is blood. Now, the blood starts to accumulate in the cells, and depending on the size of the fibroids, it's also going to cause pain. So we know we're going to need an anti-inflammatory herb. Depending on the amount of blood that the person is losing, we know that the person is going to be anemic, so we're going to need a herb that has iron. Are you with me? This is how we talk about how the body communicates to us, how the body talks to us. When we pay attention to these signs or symptoms and we pay attention to them, this is how we interpret and we know. The body tells us what it needs and the herbs tell us what they have. So if you study the herbs and you know based on the taste what it has, you know how to match them. So let's see if we can put a formula together. So we need an astringent. What are some astringent? And there are many astringents out there. Many astringents. As a matter of fact, nearly all the barks, tree trunk, the barks them are astringent. So we have from apple tree bark to pine tree bark. Most of the berries them, red raspberry, mulberry, most of the berries them, their leaves are astringent. Most of the fruits, guava, that's why guava leaf is an astringent. So what we need is an astringent. So we need to choose an astringent from the many variety of astringent that nature has. Good. The next thing we need is a herb that is going to counteract the effect of estrogen, because we now know that the main factor contributing to the fibroids is estrogen. So we need to identify the estrogen sources that are going into the body to remove them. 1. 2, we need to remove the estrogen that is already in the body, which is why somebody mentioned dandelion and herbs like milk thistle. So we need to ensure that no new form of estrogen enters the body. We need to remove the excess estrogen that is in the body. And what we also need to do is we need a herb that can counteract the effect of estrogen, because fibroids is caused by too much estrogen. Bearing in mind that depending on the person, if they have heavy bleeding, we need to address that with herbs that are high in iron. If the person is having pain, we need to address that with herbs. So that is what now determines the formulation. And that's why unlike present day, how traditional medicine was done was that when you go to the traditional practitioner has all their basic ingredients in separate containers. They are not formulated. So ancient traditions like the Chinese, when you go to the Chinese, what they have is that they have all their dried herbs labeled in separate containers. And then once they see you, once they interact with you, and they ascertain from your cells what it needs, it is there and then that your medicine is formulated. It's not like now where you go and the medicine is pre-formulated. Because even though the persons may have fibroids, really and truly, their need may very well vary from person to person because of other underlying factors. So let's see if we can put that medicine together. So we're going to need some astringent. You're going to decide. And that's why I don't tell people, just tell people what herbs to use. Because if you understand what the cells are saying and you understand what properties you are looking for, it is based on your knowledge of the herbs. So you can use whatever form of astringency you want to use. But we are going to need an astringent. We're more than likely we're going to need something to move that astringent. We're going to need something to, because usually when a person has fibroids, it's made up of connective tissues, and so we need to get the medicine going into the body. So we'll use a driver like either cayenne pepper or ginger. All right, so we're going to need that. That's a part of the formula. We're going to need a herb that will counteract the effect of estrogen. So we're going to use maybe a wild yam, which is a wild yam. Yams are high in progesterone. So if you don't have wild yam, any yam you can use, just get the yam head and you cut it up and dry it. And you dry it in the sun, beat it to powder, and you have now that. And so you now have two major ingredients. One, which is the astringent. Two, which is a herb to help with circulation. And three, an ingredient that counteracts the effects of estrogen. Now, some persons may add to it herbs that are high in iron. Nothing wrong with that. Right? As well as you could make it as a separate medicine to give to the person. This is how our ancestors used to do it. So basically, I hope I answer your question about the fibroids. So the whole idea is to get persons to understand. So show button, vitality trends, good. Show button, knobweed, many astringents out there. Now you're starting to get the idea as to how to make medicine. Our ancestors made medicine. And that's why I can't understand why you have herbalists who are selfish. Herbalists who have formulas who hide it from other persons. Only when you don't understand herbs, you do things like that, man. Because when you understand how to use herbs, you don't have to hide one formula, because you can take many herbs, make a particular medicine, because you understand how the herbs work and you're not guessing. You're not guessing. You didn't arrive at a formula by accident. So because you arrive at a formula by accident, you're protective of it. You don't want nobody else know how you do this. No. All the medicines, all the ingredients to our medicines I can share with persons. Because number one, is their right to know. And number two, by tomorrow I can get different herbs and formulate another medicine. Because the medicine is based on, it wasn't a buck up, it wasn't an accident. It's understanding. That I have heel spurs or pain in my left heel. My gosh, we're going to do it. But let me see if we can move on. This plant here, if you know this one.
This one that looks like a grass here.
That looks like a grass.
That's a plantain.
That's a plantain as well. This is now the narrow leaf plantain.
Okay.
This is a narrow leaf plantain. Narrow leaf plantain. This is also good for the eye. It's good for inflammation as well, but it is not as good as the broadleaf one. So this is the narrow leaf plantain. Yeah. How many plants we got so far?
We have gone. I told you that. Let's see.
So we have the pork root,
we have the dandelion.
Dandelion.
We have the broadleaf plantain, the artemisium.
That's four. How much is that?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Doc.
Six.
So
Wow.
far, 6. And we're just at the entrance, Doc. The 6th plant, and we're just at the entrance of the park. We still see the street. We haven't even gone into the park as yet.
We haven't even started walking into the park.
Wow.
Telling you.
This is just the entrance of the
Look at that brown one behind you.
Yes, I'm here over here. Yes. Yes.
So guys, we're in the park and we're seeing so many herbs. So many herbs. Ladies, you should have been joining us, in a man. You should be joining us. You know we stay already. Let me go over there. I'm Dr. Ben.
This is Dr. Ben Israel.
How are you?
This is Dr. Ben Israel.
And I'm
Herbatologist.
we're looking at herbs.
We're looking at plants,
All of these
what they're good for.
wild medicines growing in abundance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Estudiando la planta. Oh, estudiando la planta.
They're busy playing cards.
You're busy playing cards. All right. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So this is curly duck.
The curly duck.
Curly duck.
C-U-R-L-Y.
Or it is also called yellow duck.
Okay.
It's also called yellow duck. So most people know about burdock. Most people know about yellow duck. Yellow duck is used for purifying the blood.
Yeah.
Most of the herbs from the duck family,
Yeah.
the burdock, yellow duck, they are good for purifying the blood, and they are also very good sources of iron.
Yeah. Source of iron. So it can be eaten?
Yeah, it can be eaten. So these are in their which stage do you think these would be?
I think these are its mature stage.
Mature stage.
Yes.
So these are more medicinal.
Yes,
now,
it's
more
a good source of iron.
good source of iron, and they are good. Oh, see one here. I think this is. I think this is one of them. No. Yeah, this is one of them.
This year.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but this is it's
Vegetable.
at this stage it's same thing like
Yes,
that. So?
yes,
Vegetable stage.
So it's
yeah.
more of a
Like
vegetable.
like a child-like.
Yeah.
This is no an adult plant.
Yes.
Ready to good.
Right.
Okay.
So in this stage, it's a
Yes.
vegetable. It can, as a matter of fact, and normally, see producing that white sap.
Yes. There's a white sap that comes out of it.
I'm gonna taste it.
Yeah.
Very bitter.
Yes.
So yeah, very good for the liver. Bitter plants.
For the liver.
For the liver.
So the curly duck is used for the liver too.
Yeah, man, it's for the liver. But it's also loaded with iron. And the part that we use medicinal is the root.
The root. Okay.
The root. The leaves we use as vegetable,
Yes.
but very bitter.
I noticed I see a plant here a while ago. You see that?
As we go through. All right, let me just take this person question. D English says, Doc, I have heel spurs or pain in my left heel. Listen to what Chair C says now. Chair C says, what body site are we looking for? So let me ask a question now. What on a body sign, Chair C, is what cell sign? What type of sign are we looking for in the cells? Well, pain is a symptom, but pain is caused by something else. Pain is a secondary thing. The heel spur had to reach a certain size for it to cause pain, but there was something there before pain. What happens is also the body escalates. There's inflammation, still pain. Good. But what caused the pain? What caused the inflammation? Something caused the pain. Something caused the inflammation. So that's what we have to look for. What caused the pain and inflammation was an accumulation. Or thank you very much, Naya, Brent. It was a build-up. So it was a build-up or an accumulation of calcium that led to the pain. So that's what we need to treat. hardening, crystallization and hardening. So it's not, it's really calcification. So it is calcification that was taking place. And then the calcification was not being paid any attention. And so the calcification became more severe until it caused pain. By the way, I should say to you that pain is usually the last method that the body uses to communicate to us. It's usually the last method because the body knows that usually it's the only symptoms that we respond to when we have pain. But before there was pain, there was an accumulation of calcium, just like corn. You take a machete and you're chopping. Before you start get corn, you know, what happened was that there was blistering. You didn't pay attention to the blister. You continue to use the machete. So the body says, here what now? If I allow your hand to blister and you don't pay attention, in order to protect myself, I'm going to have to give instruction to that part of the body that is being exposed to further inflammation, to further injury. I'm going to have to give instruction to that part of the body to rapidly produce more cells to form a hardened crust to protect the hand. So respond to that, Chelsea. So that is how we get corns and calluses. It's through calcification. Now, calcification of the bone is what causes heel spur, which once that starts to happen, that's also telling us that there's an issue with the kidney. Right? And that's also telling us that that person is going to have problem with pinched nerve. Because once you have calcification on their foot, it's not the only place you can have calcification elsewhere. So what we need is we go to the chart, we look at the chart, and when we look at the chart tells us what types of herbs are used to get rid of calcification. And as Errol Barnes says, we use salty herbs. So we would find a salty herb and we would now use it because the body is saying that it needs salty herbs to resolve that. We give it salty herbs and guess what? Bam. That condition goes away. So we can use herbs like celery, which is, I talk about celery a lot, or celery seed, because it is the saltiest herb in nature. No other herb that I know is as salty as celery, but there are other salty herbs. So we can use other salty herbs, but the saltiest herb is nature. We could also use porkweed. Porkweed, Spanish needle. These are herbs that we can make poultice from. And when you put them on the area, what you find is that the calcification softens and disintegrates. All right. Cheersy says, how do you pull excessive sugar from the cells? Well, the first thing you want to look at is what causes excessive sugar to be in the cells. Again, what causes excessive sugar to be in the cells? Because excessive sugar is not supposed to be in the cell. There's supposed to be a mechanism to ensure that sugar does not increase in the cells to the point where it becomes excessive, because that can mean the death of the cells. So we have to first look at what causes, what's not working. Usually what's not working is the pancreas. And so we need to address the pancreas. It is resolving the issues of the pancreas that allows us to resolve the issues of the sugars in the cells. All right? All right, let's move on, guys. What ailments are they primarily used for? And that will give us an idea as to what are the ailments commonly around here.
In the area.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Got my notepad, Doc.
All right. Good. So I see some outside here.
Yes.
I think so. What we're trying to do is to look at the herbs that repeat themselves. What are the herbs that repeat themselves? What are the herbs that repeat themselves? Now, this one,
This here.
yeah,
Yeah.
this herb is the pork root.
All right, okay.
Pork root.
PORK.
P-O. And then
Herbatologist.
we're looking at herbs.
Nature and God is telling us something.
Yes,
Be
man.
wise.
Yeah, look at this flower. This is a flower from the dandelion. Yellow.
Yes, yes.
So it's also telling us that it's good for the urinary tract system.
Yes.
Because dandelion is also good for the urinary tract system.
Okay.
So it's good for kidney stones.
Yeah.
It's good for kidney cysts. And as I said, we're gonna be going deeper into the benefits of those each plant. Alright? But let's look if we can find anything else. So pretty much what we're seeing is pretty much a repeat of what we've seen so far.
Yes.
Out of the front. Look at the amount of red clover that we're seeing, the amount of curly duck, the amount of artemisia.
Yeah.
Just look at what all of this is saying something to us. Nature is telling us something. Nature is telling us what is the predominant ailments in this area.
Yeah.
Because these plants are grown for a purpose.
Yes.
It is grown to respond to and to deal with the health condition of the people that are in this area.
You know what I think, Doc? Strangely, the Bible said that herb is for the healing of the nation.
Yeah.
And God meant it when he said that. And he just casually give it to the just and the unjust and let them grow.
Yes,
and
man.
because your people lack of knowledge and don't know what is what, they don't study and know what is what, they just pass it along and quickly run to the store and buy these.
What's there? Look,
Yes.
look at these pasta. Look at this berry. I want you to pick one for me.
Yeah, okay. I remember this, Doc. I remember this. I remember this. This one here. Yes.
Yeah, you remember this one?
Yeah, this is the Indian strawberry.
Yes.
I think you had told me, yes.
Yeah. So this is
and it actually has a sweet taste to it. I'm gonna taste
Yeah,
it.
man.
I'm gonna taste it. That's sweet. Let me get you one, Doc.
Yeah, man.
It has a very sweet taste to it. The one that's the one with the leaf on it. So,
yeah.
See
So,
here?
so we
Yes,
can
sir.
show
yes, sir.
our friends. So this is the Indian
Strawberry.
strawberry. And look at that.
Clean, pure.
Edible.
Yes. Tastes sweet. And above it, they have this here look like
And look at these guys. Mulberry. All right, so that's the Indian strawberry. And they are used, the Indian strawberry, because usually when you find herbs that are rich in antioxidants, then you know they are good for cold, flus. But the crushed leaves can be applied to boils, abscesses, burns, running, sores, eczema. So they can be used on ringworm. They can be used on snake bites, insect bites. Basically, they're good for traumatic instances. We have swelling and so on. The leaves also, you see, you can dry the leaves and you can also make an infusion, which is good for blood circulation. The flowers are very good for blood circulation, like the red clover. And overall, they boost your immune system. So this is one of nature's little wonders that our ancestors used to use. Very, very powerful herb. And of course, the fruit is edible. I was amazed. I remember that in this initial herb audit, we are basically trying to ascertain from the observations. We are going to do an analysis, right? So we are going to analyze what we observe to find out what is nature telling us about the possible ailments or health conditions that would be common in Bronx. And trust me, I saw some people today. And it was when I started to see them, I realized that, whoa, on point. So many persons that were malnourished, so many persons that had issues, and these plants grow in abundance to resolve them, but people don't know. So there's a lot of ailments. I see a lot of people here with stomach acidity, a lot of people with constipation issues, a lot of persons who have deficient in so many minerals. So definitely malnutrition is high. Can you imagine that? Malnutrition is very high in Bronx. What is considered to be a first world nation where there is so many fruits and so many vegetables, but guess what? A lot of the fruits and vegetables are void of nutrients because they're genetically modified and they are grown with pesticides, with fertilizers, so they don't have what the body needs. So even though you're eating, you're not being nourished. Hence, the body becomes susceptible and prone to all types of diseases. All right, let's move on.
These are mulberry.
Black mulberries.
Wow.
And black mulberries, look up in the tree.
It's loaded. So I have the Indian strawberry.
And then we have the mulberries.
And then the mulberry. What is the Indian strawberry good for that?
Now, when you taste the tanginess, high in vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Okay. And the mulberry.
It's also high in vitamin C and blackcurrant. The Indian strawberry is also used for skin irritation. The leaves was traditionally used for skin irritation.
Yeah.
The mulberry is good for treating fevers, runny nose, rheumatism. It's very high in vitamin C. All right, so the black mulberries again is full of antioxidants, just like our show button are this year, and many of the other many of the natural berries that you find in nature are actually superfoods. They are superfoods. They're not just foods. They are superfoods, and these are superfoods growing wild. Because, as I said, that these are not just foods, they are intelligent foods. These are foods that, because they are not grown or tended to or cared by anyone, they have to have the intelligence to know how to ward off not being eaten and not being destroyed, how to ward off being relevant so that they can reproduce. Because if a plant is not intelligent, and they're not able to protect themselves, then animals will just consume them and they won't be able to be around. So when you see plants being around for hundreds of years, it means that these are very smart plants. That many plants went into extinction. Why didn't they go into extinction? Why are they still around? Why are they still available? They did not go into extinction because they have an intelligent about them that allows them to adjust and allow them to adapt, that allows them to be relevant so that they can be resilient enough to last. That intelligence is what we want when we consume plants, not just the minerals. All right?
Runny nose.
For cold.
Yeah.
Getting mucus out.
Yeah.
And look at all of these.
It's loaded. It's full. I believe that you say like it repeats itself. So and with the tree that loaded, it's telling you that there's a need in the community for that.
Definitely, there's a need for it.
Be careful of your step here, Dad.
All right, so let me see if I can. All right, this one, you can smell it. All right. And that one is called garlic mustard.
It has a start. Let me see. It has a
And that we know we're in New York.
Pungent smell to it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So some more over here.
Garlic mustard.
So we know we're in New York.
That, the more I rub it, the more the fragrance. Wow, the more the fragrance come out.
Yeah. So this is
Garlic mustard.
garlic mustard, and the root is what is used.
Yes.
Yeah, the root is what is used. And you know, if we were to harvest herbs to use, we couldn't harvest any herb from here
Yes.
because you know people walk past here with their animals and so on. So
You'd have to go more.
we have to go more inside,
not
yeah.
from the edges.
No.
All right. And if you notice that, there's a fence that's broken down.
Yes.
But look, they're already cutting them down and throwing them away because they don't know what it is.
Yeah. So people are treating this as weeds.
Yes.
So for them, this is just like common weed.
Yes. That, look at this. You remember this?
As that's the garlic mustard, and the garlic mustard is another herb that was used a lot by the Indians. It was used for treating wounds. The leaves are also antiseptic, so they were also used as for mouthwash, for ulcers, for bruises, bug bites, for cuts, and it was also used for colds and coughs, stomach issues. It was used to cure colic and kidney stones. So many benefits there of that herb. And as I said, just look at the amount of medicinal benefits that we have passed just from where we were. And all of that is still in the Bronx, still there for the people. Because that's why it's there. As soon as you kill it, it comes back up and it is saying, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you. I want to serve you. I'm here to serve you. Because the scripture says that Yahuwah made the herbs for the healing of the nation. So they are fulfilling that programming. As long as there is sickness, and you cut them, you use waka, you spray them, no matter what we try to do to damage them, they are responding to the purpose for which they were made, which is, I have to be present so that there is healing for the nation. It's very important that we understand that, guys. Very, very important that we understand that.
The mulberry.
Yeah, and by the way, this is
a huge mulberry tree. But look at the ground. Look at the mulberry. They're walking, they're stepping, they don't know what it's for.
So none of these people know what this is for. They just passed it.
What is the garlic mustard used for, Doc?
The garlic mustard is used for when you taste garlic mustard, it's what it's called. It's used for the mouth.
The mouth. Okay.
So if you're having sores or anything like that, gum problem, you can use the garlic mustard to treat it. It's a diuretic also, so it helps with persons to pass urine. And
your student is writing that. And
yeah, man.
Your student is taking notes.
Yes, man. So that's what we want to do. You want to, we encourage persons to go through.
Yes.
And to make an audit, as we're seeing more of them.
You know what I like, Doc? I like the fact that you're going to do a herb walk on Saturday, Saturday morning. You're gonna be teaching at the church on Friday night.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the medicine,
from about 5 o'clock in the evening to about 8 o'clock.
Right.
And then right in the early sun up and Saturday morning, you're gonna do a herb walk in here. And we're just still at the beginning of the park. We haven't gone all the way to the park yet. We're discovering all of this.
Definitely. And we wanna just give thanks, for the connection that you and I have made.
Oh yes.
Because this is definitely not going to be the first nor the last.
No, we can't be, Doc. We're brothers. The same father but different mother.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back and look at all of these
Indian berries.
Indian strawberries.
Yeah.
So if you look at this is pretty much, if you look at the leaves, this is pretty much what they would have genetically modified.
Yes.
To create the strawberries that has been domesticated.
Wow. because it looks the same way. And when you pluck off the stem of the genetic strawberry that they modified, it looks the stem of it looks like
Right.
the same way.
Right, but the one that they have genetically modified, the fruits are larger.
Yes, much larger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the purpose of modifying is to increase yield,
Yes.
to increase size, and to reduce, the time that it takes to reach maturity.
Yes.
So what we're seeing, guys, is just a repeat. All right, now we're seeing another plant that we never saw before. And if we can pick a leaf of that, Pastor.
This one here. This one here. Look almost like there's a prickle. It has a prickle on it too, like this. This one here. Oh, it just has a prickle on it too. See, it has a prickle on the back of it here.
Right. So this is prickly, and when when you look at the
leaves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Prickly, man.
Yeah. This wouldn't be prickly M.
No, this wouldn't be prickly elm. This is a plant that was called wine raspberry.
Wine raspberry. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Doc, let me show you something. We have here.
How many plants we got so far? Sorry about that, guys. So all of these fruits are you hearing me now, guys? So all of these fruits are high in bioactive compounds that boost the body's immune system. All the berries. And as I was saying a while ago, that when I was young growing up, as children, we didn't eat breakfast, some of us didn't eat lunch. Especially on weekends, we would just go out to play. And what we ate for lunch, what we ate was what was growing wild around us. If it was cherry, it was raspberry, it was guava, it was mango. What we ate was the food that was there. So these wild berries, these berries, when you go in and you find these edible berries, they are loaded. They are considered to be superfoods because they contain very dense form of nutrients. No sound still? Okay. All right, let's continue.
We have the pork root, we have the dandelion, we have the broadleaf plantain, we have the artemisium, we have the red clove, we have the narrowleaf plantain, we have the curly dock, the Indian strawberry, we have the mulberry, we have the garlic mustard, and the wine rose, wine raspberry.
Wow. So look, and that's just from here. And these are the plants that we're seeing repeating themselves.
Yes.
Constantly repeating themselves. And we're in
the Soundview Park.
Soundview Park.
In the Bronx, New York. The Boogie Down Bronx.
That's right.
The Big Apple.
Right. And look at all of these red clover growing on both sides of the road. So these are just free foods and free medicine.
Yes. Wow.
Free food and free medicine. So as we look at these herbs, what we're seeing is just these herbs repeating themselves. And most persons, if you go through your yard, what you'll see, and I'm sure if we go to a different part of the park,
yes,
you're gonna see some of the herbs now repeating themselves. Is that tree? I don't know this tree.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture of it.
You don't know what it is? We find out.
Right. More
Mulberry.
mulberries.
Yeah.
I mean, a person could just get up in the morning and come here. Look at the size of these mulberries, guys.
Right. I want to lift up the limb so you can see underneath it properly, Doc. Let me lift it.
Wow.
Look at these, Doc. Look at here. Look at here. Look underneath the limb. Look how loaded it is. I go like that. Look at this, Doc. Look at here.
Loaded.
Yes. Very sweet. Very sweet, Doc.
So we could come here and get lunch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Breakfast snacks in the morning.
And this is just free.
Yes. And it's healthy.
And it's fresh.
And if you're gonna pick them, don't pick the one on the low down, pick one on the high because you know.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
So we could pick these for breakfast.
Yeah. Yes.
And
EABANE.
yes, daisy flea
And
bean.
you say it's good for headache and cold.
Yeah, it's good for headaches, it's good for cold.
Uh-huh.
And it's good for inflammation as well.
Inflammation. Okay.
So when we finish, we want to look at all the herbs and their
Medicinal purpose.
yeah, and that gives us an idea, a general idea of what. So the herb that we just looked on is a daisy flea bean. Sorry about that, guys. My brain is just slowing down. I'm so tired. So let's see if we can wrap this up quick. I'm so tired, trust me. But this is a daisy flea bean, and flea bean is a herb that we didn't see much of it there. But flea bean has many traditional uses. The Cherokee, which is one of the First Nation people of America, used to use flea bean for epilepsy. They used to use it for headaches. They used to use it for colds, coughs, and inflammation in the nose and throat. So it's one of those herbs that's very good for persons who have allergy. They would make poultices for headaches. They would make tea from the roots for colds and coughs. And they would inhale the smoke from the plant in the form of incense for head cold. They also made a number of other products from it. But this was a herb that was very vast in terms of what it could do. So persons who were having cold and persons who were having coughing, then this was a go-to herb in terms of resolving that. Very good herb. All right. So let's move on to the common health conditions that persons are going to have here.
All right. Wow.
All right, guys, look at this beautiful plant that we found. I don't know how many persons can tell us what this plant is. It produces a nice purple flower when it opens. This herb, and here's what now in the scripture, like in the scripture, Pastor, when man was cursed,
Yes.
what did the Most High say that would come from the earth?
He said, by the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread.
Yes, yeah, right. But what would come from the earth as a result of the curse? You remember?
He said, I know he said you shall toil.
The earth, and from it shall come thorns.
Thorns and thistles, yes.
Thorns and thistles.
Yes.
No. As a result of man's sin,
yes,
the earth was cursed.
Yes.
And what it would produce is what?
Thorns and thistles.
Well, this is called milk thistle.
Thistles. Wow, and there's thorns in it also.
Yes, no.
But although he cursed it and it produced thorns and thistles, it still have its maintain its medicinal purpose.
Yes, because guess what's the purpose of thistles? There's about, from holy thistle to blessed thistles,
yes,
there's over about 300 different types of thistles.
This is milk thistle.
And this is milk thistle.
Yes.
Now milk thistle is good for the liver. Oh. And this is a herb. We use milk thistle along with this other herb, not this one. With burdock.
Burdock?
Well, burdock is not here. But most of the herbs here, so far, most of the herbs that we are seeing here are herbs for the liver.
Yes.
So thistle,
yes,
is used for the liver, and if you notice, it has lots of thorn.
Yes.
Now, predominantly plants,
yes,
that produce lots of thorns,
yes,
are good for pain. Almost any plant that produce thorns
good for pain.
Good for pain.
Yeah.
And nearly all form of thistles,
yes,
are good for the liver.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
So what the Most High did was that what came up from the earth,
yes,
which is thorn and thistle.
Yes.
Now when we commit sin,
yes,
what we experience is pain.
Yes.
So the thorns and thistle that the earth produced would have been a remedy for the pain caused by sin.
This, you know what I noticed, that when you say that, it still shows
mercy
and the grace of God. I'm going to punish you, but I'm going to give you the cure for your punishment. Right. I'm going to whip you, but I'm going to give you the balm of Gilead.
Yes.
Wow.
So even the plants that came up as a result of the disobedience, which is thorns and thistles. Thorns, yes, is good for every plant that produce thorn. One way of identifying medicines that help with pain, you look and see they produce thorn.
Yes.
Right? So almost every plant that produce thorn is good for pain.
Yes.
And every thistle is good for the liver. Because guess what happens? Once you support your liver, the quality of your liver determines the quality of your life.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Definitely. So the quality of liver determines the quality of life. Naya been after what I'm eating. Naya, me never know so the camera wasn't off me at all. So I was drinking some soup. But I'm telling you, my brain is really tired. So it's slowing down now. I mean, So milk thistle or thistles is one of those herbs that is good for the liver. So from the herb walk that we did, we realized that if you notice, if you go back and look at the video, you realize that a lot of the herbs that we looked at were actually good for the liver. They are liver. So it tells us that there's a very high incidence of persons here whose ailments are tied to their liver not being what it should be. And so these are the herbs that we find in abundance, guys. These are the herbs that we find in abundance. So there is just so much to learn from nature. What we need to do is, when we go into a space, we need to go as a student, not as a teacher. We need to go observing, paying attention to the small details, and just allow nature to communicate to us. All right, just allow nature to teach us. So that's basically a look at the 13 plants that we did in our herb walk today. I'm going to be posting the quiz. Tomorrow I'm traveling to Florida, so I'm going to take some rest. By Wednesday, I'm going to be posting the quiz in the Kinder Wellness community. If you're not yet a member of the Kinder Wellness community, please check our 60 Minutes with Mother Nature videos, and there's going to be a link in the description. In order to be a member, you need to download Telegram. Right? You need to download Telegram. So, guys, thank you for being on. It was an absolute pleasure having you. Remember, we're looking for 12,000 persons to teach 120 herbs. Just have 28. We just have 28. So the wine, hope I come up 1 to 2 next time. There, Ben. I know. All right. So just go back over the video. Um, um, uh, in Annie, just go back over the video. And you can get that information. But it's usually all berries and cherries. They're high in antioxidants. So they're usually good for colds or flus. They're high in vitamin C, so they're good for helping the healing process, that type of thing. Right? So I want to be a member. What's the requirement? So to be a member, all you have to do. So I'm gonna say as it relates to the Boston Institute class. Just keep abreast with our, once it's ready, I'm going with I'm going to be just like what I'm talking about, keep on repeating. Once the classes are ready, then you're going to know, because I'm going to be using this platform and as well as other social media platform to make it be known. But it's going to be ready for late part of this month, but it's going to be ready. So you're going to need Telegram. You need to download Telegram. Then click the link in the videos to join the Kinder Wellness community. That is where the quiz is going to be. The quiz is not going to be posted in our YouTube description link. It's going to be posted in the Telegram group. I should also say that one that I have coming up is what is called a Heal Thyself Challenge. Heal Thyself Challenge, which will last for about 30 days. About 30 days, we're looking for persons who are not in the best of health and who are looking to heal themselves. So in that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, making available to you the recipes, as well as doing a live every single day on, I think I might do it on Zoom, just to answer questions, not for long, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes, to answer questions and also to get feedback from persons who are participating. So I want you to look out for that, guys. Thank you for being on. See you guys next week, Sunday. Until next time, this is Dr. Ben Israel reminding you that your health is your responsibility, and the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. Bye-bye.